Hey everybody, it's LaDonna Marie, internationally multi-award winning author, speaker, and personal development life coach of LaDonna Marie Books, where my mission is to discover the champion in you through healing and changing the narrative in your life, one book at a time. You can shop and find out more information at www.ladonnamarie.org and check out the shop page. Welcome to Inspirational Talks with LaDonna Marie, a Planting Positive Seeds podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome again to Inspirational Talks with your host, LaDonna Marie. I am so excited tonight on Monday nights at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. We always bring in the show. This is a Planting Positive Seeds podcast. We're here. We plant positive seeds in the lives of others daily. And I'm so excited. I get again to talk to another person who's in the social work field, a field that I love. I love talking about mental health and helping others to get the help that they need and connecting them. And so I want to introduce and bring in my special guest, Tanise McInnis. Come on in.
Hello. Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Listen, first off, did I pronounce your name right or no?
Except the last name a little bit, McInnis.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And often in the beginning of the show, Tanise, I'm going to read a little bit of your bio. And then if there's anything that I may have missed, because I want, this to be a conversation for you and the guests. So you can highlight, things about yourself that you would want them to know. And I'm going to start. So you are a Chi-Town transplant, currently living in Mississippi. You've practiced in the profession of social work over 21 years. You've been afforded the opportunity to work in community-based school, state, federal agencies serving children and adults. Additionally, you have passion with special needs caregiver population and seek to bring change through systematic barriers while increasing awareness to assess pro-social interventions by eclectic approach. I'm having all type of bloopers tonight, y'all, for social, emotional, and mental wellness. And so I said a mouthful. So you're from Chi-Town and you're now in Mississippi. You've practiced for over 21 years. And I love that you've been community-based and working with children and families. So with me reading your bio, I want you to share a little bit more about yourself and your career with the listeners of Planting Positive Seeds.
Well, I am the owner of Empowering Minds Counseling and Consulting Services. Yes. It's a virtual therapeutic service agency that provides weekend-based counseling for individuals and families and caregivers who have been impacted by grief and anxiety. Right now, our families, our special needs families, and just individuals in general, with the state of what's going on in society and with healthcare, people are having a hard time dealing. And so Empowering Minds really connects individuals with interventions that's going to help them plan out their wellness and increase interventions for overall health.
Well, I am so thankful that you shared that, you are over Empowering Minds, your agency. And I'm so grateful because, like you said, you're out there helping others bridge the gap to get the help that they need. Even more now than ever with everything that has been going on in the last, year and a half where we couldn't really go into places. And so virtual has been the thing that we had to learn to do more. I'm not going to say everybody wasn't doing it, but to do it more. But one of the things that I like that you said, Tanise, is that you do weekend based. And that's so great because, sometimes you need that additional help even on the weekends. And they may not can make it through the week, due to the schedules or different things, but just making sure that you're covering the basis of the weekend. And this is like my first time hearing it. I know that it's probably being done in other places, but I'm so glad that Empowering Minds is offering those services to people, even with special needs and with parents that need, like you said, those interventions. And I'm so excited. I have a social work and counseling background. I tell everyone that's why I get so excited when you all come onto the show, because I've always wanted to work in a helping profession. I think that's when I started, when I was really young. And then being that I've done those things, I used to go out to the schools. And, when I first started in case management, we were talking about degrees before we got on the show and just, where we lived. And I worked in community-based places where agencies where I had to go. So I know the services that you provide are so needed, and the people are glad that it's out there, because our mental wellness, emotional wellness, and social right now, we just have to understand what's really going on and what we need to do. And so I'm so glad that you again have been able to come on the show and be able to share with each and every one of us. I want to stop here and just ask you, what inspires you to do what you do? Most of us have a backstory. Most of us have gone through something, or just your heart is pulling and tugging towards the population that you work with. Could you tell us and the listeners of Inspirational Talks what inspires you to do what you do?
So my inspiration is sort of split. It's rooted in two different places. Primarily, my inspiration are my children. It is important for me to provide experiential opportunities for them to create interpersonal growth where they see me modeling, goal setting, where they see me persevering. And in doing that, they give me feedback, we learn from each other, and that pushes me even further. Also, several years ago, I was a school social worker working in an inner city high school district and middle school, and had a unique opportunity to talk with several special needs and caregivers, parents of children that were on the autism spectrum. And this was before I had my own child on the spectrum. And so I was able to witness firsthand and have those discussions from parents who they were impacted. Their wellness was impacted.
Yeah.
They were stretched. They were trying to meet their own wellness needs and those of their children. A lot of times they were trying to communicate with the school, but didn't know how. They didn't understand the process. They didn't even know what services their child needed or where to begin. And so in looking at that, that definitely impacted. And then once I had my own child and being able to having to navigate those very same barriers and questions, definitely impacted Empowering Minds to create a therapeutic atmosphere that's going to address systemic barriers, but push towards increasing wellness resources, whether therapeutically or through published resources for parents.
And that is so, that's an amazing story to just be able to tell, because like I said, most of us always have our own personal touch, to why we do what we do. I often share with everyone what inspired Inspirational Talks and Planting Positive Seeds is because I attempted to commit suicide at the age of 14. And I tell that story now because God always asked me to tell it, because people see me smiling. They see me doing podcasts and interviews. They see me winning awards. and going different places, but they don't know the journey that I had to travel to get here. And some people are standing in those places not knowing that it's possible. And so I'm so glad that you are able to give them the wellness information that they need. That you're also coming from a place where it was personal for you because you had to educate yourself. And this is your profession, your baby, your love, and then also with your child. And so I'm so glad. Like, I don't modestly just tell people I'm glad. I really am. My heart is for the people, and in any way that I could do something for people, I do. This Planted Seeds podcast is a part of my nonprofit, and through my nonprofit, I help disenfranchised women and girls. And so I teach them emotional wellness and help them with their holistic view. And even though I'm not practicing, I still, the God in me because that's what happened for me. I mean, he had to bring me through teaching me how to use him and other techniques. And had I been one of those people at that time, at a young age, that my mom would have taken me to therapy or taken me to see someone, I would have gladly gone. And so that's my love for, what you do. And so glad that I'm able to share this opportunity, with the listeners. I always talk about on the show any highlights and achievements that we've overcame, what we've been able to receive, because I love that. It sometimes it's not easy to get started. We even have to push ourselves to do what we do each and every day. And so I want to make sure that here at Planted Positive Seeds, we take the time to celebrate how far we've come and the things that have happened, for us along the way. And so I just want to segue into asking you, can you tell us, we're listening, some highlights from your journey, and some achievements that you've gotten along the way?
Well, the journey of Empowering Minds has been one that is definitely interesting. Empowering Minds was originally, the business plan for Empowering Minds was written in 2007.
Okay. Way
before, and sometimes God will do that. He'll plant a seed on something and you don't really know when the plant what's going to come of it. So the purpose to serve the community and engage with the community was always there. So then the business was established in 2016. And yet again, because of various reasons, security of where I was working at the time, and just, was trying to go into my present job and do what I needed to do. And I thought, I'll get Empowering Minds up and going.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was that I realized that the passion that I had and the population that in my soul that I needed to serve was being met where I was. So it was time to put Empowering Minds out there. And so we engaged with the community, doing community outreach, participated in several business expos. But one of our biggest highlights is that we were able to publish several wellness resource books, and they have taken off. And so an achievement and a highlight for me is when I have a client who I'm going to call a collaborator, because we're in this thing together.
Yes.
I have a collaborator come to me and say, you know what, I used the book, and out of this, I was able to create a wellness plan. Out of this, I saw my anxiety symptoms decrease, or my focus increase. That is such a highlight and an achievement for us.
Yes, and that is so great. Now I'm gonna have to get one of those wellness books. Okay, congratulations on that. And those are some great highlights, because I often say the feedback that you get from others is, what is near and dear to our hearts, because it lets you know that you're in the right place, that you're doing the right thing for the right people. And like you said, the population that you strive to want to help, they weren't being helped. And so I want to just say congratulations and thank you for your yes to stepping up, that although you had that business plan in 2007, You stepped in 2016 and you wrote the vision and made it plain, and the Lord bless you to start your business. And so I am so appreciative that, like I said, you're here today helping others to decrease their anxiety, increase their wellness, to take care of them, mind, body, and soul. And so that's always a blessing. I want to ask you to share with us also a time when you had to overcome an obstacle. I told you about my suicide attempt, and most of the time, I share with others on the show, because like you said, we have to let them know how we've overcame, or even some steps that we need to take. Because sometimes I've learned that people can be, in a situation and they just don't know what to do. And I want to know, and just telling to our listening guests, because we have a wide variety of people from all over the world who come in and listen. And so any tidbits that you can give them, or just share a time that you had to overcome an obstacle, and what did you do, and how did you accomplish it?
Okay. Have you ever found out some news that shook you to your core? I mean, maybe you expected the situation, but when you finally learned the information, when it finally hit and the truth came out in that moment, physically your body reacted. Maybe you became numb, heart pounding, feel like you have a golf ball stuck in your throat, can't breathe. We have all been there. The day that I learned of my child's diagnosis, I was there, as many parents have been. But it's moments like this that can leave us feeling hopeless.
Yes.
But it's also in these moments that put us on that journey of healing.
Yes.
And that journey is often sometimes not easy, but
right.
It's necessary.
Yeah.
And it is possible once we share our stories, because a lot of times we think we're the only ones that's going through it.
Don't we though? Yes.
So we hold it in. And then when you get to talking to somebody else, you're like, oh, wait a minute.
I'm not by myself. Right.
So we have to share our stories. We have to learn ways to express our pain. We're not always taught that. Sometimes we're taught to suck it up, be strong.
Yeah.
You have to let that pain push you towards your purpose. And so, yeah.
Well, I thank you again for sharing that, because like you said, even when it hits home and it's your family, it's your situation, it's something that happens to you, it does kind of unsettle you for a moment. But I'm so thankful that you're able to journey through that healing, and come out on the other side and able to see, see your way through. But you said it, and I totally agree, because even when I was younger, I learned, and even when I got older, I learned that was a trick of the enemy to always isolate you, to make you feel like you're the only one going through that. So even I can remember back when I was going through feeling sad and feeling, depressed about whatever was going on in my teenage life. And I felt like I was all by myself, until the Lord came in and stepped in, and he actually healed me and saved me so that I would not be a statistic. And so from that day forward, I always said that I was going to help other people to heal. And even if it didn't have anything to do with me, like if I knew someone, I said, wait a minute, I know Empowering Minds agency you need to connect with, that they would get that help that they needed. But I was stuck at the place where I thought that I was the only person. But when the Lord showed me that I was not the only person, and that, there was help and I could heal, and you had to walk through that journey, I began to hold my head up and begin to walk. Yeah. Right. And so it's that awareness, and it's that emotional wellness piece. That's the reason why I had read somewhere, because I do a lot of research on like the emotional wealth and emotional healing and stability, because that was my thing, and I lived it. So I have the experience, but I always want to back it up with the knowledge. And I was reading somewhere, and it said like mental health is like the ocean, but emotional health is the waves. And so it's the waves that you go through in the bigger scheme of your overall mental health. And so just overcoming those obstacles and, knowing that it's possible, like you said, and that you can do it. Thank you for sharing, that with us, because I know it was a journey for you to go through. Tanise, I want to ask you, because, sometimes I know I work a lot and I'm always in front of my computer, and sometimes I have to stop myself from doing some work or finding something to do in between writing books, because I'm also an author of 12 books and and doing this podcast. And so I was like, girl, when you gonna have time to have some fun? And I had to implement some me time and some fun. So that's the reason why I'm gonna ask this next question about what do you do outside of your business? Because we have to have that balance. And even if it's sometimes just sitting up, kicking your feet up, that's sometimes where you would find me. But I want to hear from you and share with the listeners. Maybe it could be something they can write down, that they can add to their list of things to just how to relax and chill.
Okay, well, I am a foodie. I love vegan food. So I get relaxation in searching vegan recipes on YouTube. They have some really creators, and then I try to go to the store and buy that and go home and recreate it, and then try to make everybody in the house eat it. But I love to search out vegan recipes. Another one of and the next one is actually part of my wellness plan, because it's so important that we create our individual wellness plan. It's the things that are unique to us, the things that we like. May not be what somebody else likes, but what we like that makes us think and feel good. So I love the beach. I love the sun. I like some days just to go sit on the beach and let the wind blow and just meditate, just close my eyes and just think about how grateful I am. And just grateful to be and grateful to be living. And then my last thing that my friends and family know, I love karaoke. I love to sing. Okay. And so we have friends and family karaoke battle nights, and since COVID, we do it virtually. Yeah, and we have a really good time with it.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun. Just to do the karaoke. I've done it like once or twice, and it's been fun, singing and laughing. But that's a great thing to do. I love the outside. So I feel you I'm not as close to the beach, but I love just going. I'm a cloud person. And so I love going out to just see the beautiful clouds and how the sun peeps through the different rays. And you'll probably find a bunch of pictures in my phone, because I'm always taking pictures. When I was younger, my grandmother would always say, look at that, animal up there, or look at that dog. And so she'll have us looking up in the clouds, and we were like, yeah, you know what, Grandma, it does look like something. But thank you so much. And I know that your family appreciate those recipes and those vegan. they testing out what you are, preparing for them to eat. I'm a Pinterest person too. I usually will go on there and find different foods that I normally, wouldn't eat in our household. And so I will find some things sometimes too, and try to cook it and see if I could do it. But thank you so much again for sharing that with us. I want to come as we come, to the close. And if you have anything else that you want to add, or anything that you would like to share with the listeners of Planet Positive Seeds, here is the time. You can also let them know how we can get in contact with you, and how they can, get your services, and where can they go.
Listen, I would like to leave the listeners with these final words. Anxiety and grief can be debilitating, but hope and healing, they're empowering. Yeah. I challenge everyone. You have to embrace your individual wellness. You have to. Beyond limitations, beyond boundaries. And when you do that, you will claim your authentic self.
Wow. And that is so, like, I'm learning that to be so true, Tanise. I'm learning that to be so true. And in each day of my life, as I walked, more and more with the Lord, I have a book that I just wrote, a memoir called The Journey, The Path. And it talks about how I, just being your authentic self, how more about who I am, because the Lord said it was time for me to share a little bit more. I didn't start sharing the suicide story until like book number 3. And so in book number 12, this was the one where he just wanted me to share with them. And so I thank you for letting them know about walking into their authentic self, being who they were created to be, being the best version of themselves, but hope and healing, because we just can't get there by just wishing and not doing anything. We actually have to do the work. And so I thank you again. If you could give your website, where they can find you, or any social media where they can find you, the floor is yours.
Okay, so on IG, you can find me at Empowering Minds _CCS. And then I have a link that will lead you to everything. And that's bit.ly /Tanise Empowering Minds. It actually reads Tan is Empowering Minds, but my name just happens to be Tanise. So it's Empowering Minds.
Listen, just worked out right? Just worked out. Well, I thank you again for being here with the listeners of Planting Positive Seeds of Inspirational Talks on my show. It has been a blessing to learn more about what you do. I pray that the listeners that are listening, that they get in touch with you, because you help them on weekends and you do it virtually. So there's no reason that if they can't come throughout the week, that they, be able to reach out, to you, to be able to get the help that they need, because I know that it is so needed in our communities, in our homes, even in our churches. Sometimes we need to implement a little bit of mental health and wellness in our social lives. And so I know that it is so needed. I just thank you again, Ms. Tanise, for coming and joining us here on Inspirational Talks.
Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed myself. Thank you.
You are so welcome. So everyone, we thank you again for coming and sharing your time with us. We know that you could be anywhere else in the world, but on Mondays at 6:30 Central and 7:30 Eastern, you are here with your girl, your host, Pastor LaDonna Marie. I'm so grateful that you can share with us. Make sure that you reach out to the guests. Make sure that you share their information with someone you know. We're going to cultivate this year and the rest of this year as being a year to empower and to help other people, and that we help our neighbors as we would want someone to help us. And so peace and blessings, everyone, on tonight. Again, this is LaDonna Marie on Inspirational Talks, a Planting Positive Seeds podcast. Peace. I have gained so many valuable lessons from my experiences. In writing Things I Wish I Knew, Letters to My Little Sisters is a collection of heartfelt conversations with young girls and young adults all over the world, helping them to be prepared for things ahead. This has been another purpose-packed episode of Inspirational Talks with LaDonna Marie, a Planting Positive Seeds podcast. Please remember to like, share, and tell your friends about the podcast. Stay tuned for many more Inspirational Talks with LaDonna Marie.